From Portland, Oregon comes MC, performing artist, and media personality Milc. Fresh off the release of his album Run for the Arts with producer Spinitch, Milc continues to show why he's one of the main voices to watch in hip hop today. With standout songs such as Field Day featuring the legendary Blue and Mr. and Mrs. Smith featuring Wynne. In addition to Run for the Arts, he has a deep catalog that includes projects such as Neutral Milk Motel, Bad Tofu, The Fish to Save Portland, Big Belly Blanco, and more. In addition to his music, Milc is well known for his popular podcast, Good Talk, where he showcases his gift for conversation, culture, wit, and storytelling. Tune in to learn about his journey in music, the making of Run for the Arts, and what is that coming next on the Cristopolis Show number 284. From Portland, Oregon, comes MC, performing artist, and media personality Milc. We're going to bring him in and talk to him about his most recent album, Run for the Arts, plus his impressive discography and what he's got coming next. Let's bring him in.
Yo.
Salute, my brother. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah, already. Hypes.
Hey, it's an honor to have you on the Cristopolis Show. You're such a fascinating individual because in addition to your career as an MC, and the grind is prolific, you go to New York and jump on one of the dopest podcasts and kind of, hop on something that's really important at this moment, right? Like you could have like 20 albums, but all of a sudden you're creating content and it kind of like opens you up in a different way and you're riding that wave. And this makes you a very interesting rapper outside of the rap game. You know what I'm saying? So it's an
Yeah.
honor to have you on and talk about your hustle, your perspective, your approach, and your music.
Word. Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad to be here. You had a lot
Thank you, my
of,
brother.
I checked the page out. You had a lot of dope guests on before me, so
Thank you,
happy
my
to be
brother.
part of the legacy.
Yes, I appreciate that. So I think it's probably a good place to start with like the most recent full length that you released, which is Run for the Arts. What a dope project with the producer Spinitch. Talk to us about how you and him connected because what a dope sound he has.
Yeah, we're both from Portland. Known him a while. He's just, uh, just ran into him in like a lot of events in Portland, and he's a younger kid, but he has, an old soul, especially when it comes to the music. And yeah, we just connected. We had worked on it a lot for like a few years, but I had just been back and forth from New York and Portland. It was hard for us to like get it, but then we finally got it dialed in and locked in, and yeah, it's dope project. Yeah, came out about
Yeah,
it exactly a year ago.
Yeah, it makes sense because it sounds super well done, right? It doesn't sound like, 10 tracks or 13 tracks that y'all recorded and put together. The project from opening to close, plus the features and everything, just really is like a well thought out, well produced project. It sounds like a lot of time and energy went into it.
Oh yeah, definitely. We spent a lot of time on it, especially like in the last few months before dropping. Just a lot of mixing and putting all the bells and whistles into it. But yeah, nah, it turned out really dope. I'm very proud of that one.
Yeah. Yeah. The opening track, Corduroy's a banger,
Oh,
right? I
thank
mean,
you. Yeah.
maybe we could kind of talk about some of the specific tracks because you've got some heavyweight features too, but maybe Corduroy, it opens it up. What inspired that? The beat, the lyrics. Talk to us about it.
Yeah, I think Corduroy was one of like the earliest. I probably recorded that in like 2022 or 2023. But it kind of set off like the idea for the whole album. The album has like a coming of age kind of nostalgic vibe to it, and that one was like, yeah, we figured that would be the intro. Even as soon as I was done laying it down, we are like, oh, that's for sure the intro. And yeah, that's one of my favorites off the album, definitely.
Yeah, it's one of those joints that as soon as I heard it, like I added it to my playlist. I was like, oh, I'm gonna listen.
Fire.
This is gonna show up in the playlist 7 months from now. You know what I'm
Hell
saying?
yeah.
It's like, who's that? Oh yeah. That's that joint, right?
Oh,
That's that milk joint.
yeah.
That's that lecture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's dope. And then you got the heavyweight blue for Field Day, right?
Yeah.
And he goes off,
Yeah, he killed
right?
it. Yeah,
Because there's like
yeah,
him, basically every featuring you got, they come with their A game on this
yeah.
album.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, Blue, I had known Blue because I opened up for him in like Portland and Seattle with him and X, maybe Exile a couple years ago. and we just kind of stayed in contact here and there. And when I heard when I laid my verse down, I was like down like I want to leave the verse open, try to get somebody on there, and Blue like clicked in my head, and I sent it to him. He sent it back really fast, and yeah, that was that's a special one for sure. Blue killed it. Yep.
He's so talented too, man. He's like one of those dudes that'll like lay that level of a verse down in like 24 hours.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's automatic with it. Yeah, he's super prolific. Blues, he's a legend, man. He's fucking dope.
Yeah. Then the other heavyweight that you have on there, right, who's making crazy waves right now is Wynne. Talk about, Spinach, Portland, you, Portland, her, right? And then she
Yeah,
goes off on that joint.
yeah. Win kill. Yeah, she definitely killed that one. Yeah, Wynn's just been now she's been doing her thing like a long time. Uh, she's had like a lot of recent successes and been viral a lot and all that. But yeah, she's just the homie. She's like best friends with It's like one of Spinach is one of her best friends, and I think that's the first. Yeah, that's the only joint we have right now that's like out to the public. So yeah, that was like our first joint together. It was like kind of like we've been talking about it for a while, and that one just kind of fit. And yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And
No.
yeah, we shot a video. Yeah, it was just it's like yeah, people love going back to that one. I feel like it was like one of my more like tracks that people come up to me and talk to me about and shit like that.
Yeah, it's a fire beat, right? You go off and then, your recent success and then her recent success. So
Yeah,
it's got all the pieces to it to like
yeah,
make it like go up on your ranking, right?
yeah. It was exciting. Yeah, it was fun. That was a fun joint for sure.
Yeah, and then that verse, like I actually heard that verse. Like she's done it in a like a acapella, like for content.
Oh,
Like
like a
she's
cipher or something. Yeah,
she
yeah,
did it somewhere, right? And it was just
yeah,
like, she bodied the verse, right? And then when I heard it, I was like, oh, it's the milk verse. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, it's a memorable verse.
For sure.
Um, Talk to us about the Portland scene, right? Because on that specific track, right, we're talking
Yeah,
some heavyweights. Spinach heavyweight with the production, you with the bars, and also not only with the bars, but your business savvy, your hustle, your grind. These are also talents, right? And then Win, obviously, right? Talk to us
yeah.
about the community, maybe even outside of y'all.
Word. Yeah, Portland is. It's a really untapped talent pool of producers and MCs and visual artists, just kind of in general. There's just a lot of talent in Portland that I don't think the greater landscape of like hip hop in general has really got to see much of, and hopefully that's starting to change a little bit. But yeah, there's just so many dope MCs, and because there's so much talent there, like producers and rappers, I don't really I work with other cats, of course, outside of Portland, but I can always just go back home and make music with the homies, and it's gonna be super fire. Just to like list off some dope producers and MCs real quick from that people should check out: Televangel, um, Solomon, spelled all X's. These are producers. Who else? Andy Savoy, he's from Portland but lives in Seattle. Trox. Uh, who else are some Portland cats? Just a ton. And then MCs. If you don't know, Versatile from Lifesavers, he's super fire. You got Slick Devious, Tron, or Old Grape God. They got a whole crew called Time Travel, Brax. All those MCs are super dope. Soup Dread, Teaspoon. I could go on and on. There's a lot of talent in Portland for sure.
Yeah, man. No, I think that that's great. And anybody who comes across this, they're gonna, love checking them out. And anybody you gave a shout out to, I'm sure they're gonna, appreciate that love, bro. That's
Wait,
dope.
wait. Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Being on the West Coast in Portland, I could tell from stuff like the visual for Earl the Pearl Monroe, right? You've come down to LA and that's just a big cultural thing here on the West Coast. But then you've kind of gone and made your mark in New York. I'm really curious as a person that's from Portland, that's been in LA, been in New York, if you could share for us like maybe like your experience of being in these different environments, the pros and the cons, right? There's a lot of MCs and just creatives in general, right? Whether it's content, production, fashion, and they're like, should I leave, wherever I'm from and go
Yeah.
do it? And then you're a person that's had success with it. Can you talk to us about your experience and what it's like in different places?
Yeah, I mean, I think even if you live in like a big market city where a lot's happening, you should get outside your city and collaborate. And it's just even better to just to expand your horizons, mix it up in different cultures and see different things. It's better for your music. But yeah, in Portland, obviously, you can hit the ceiling of being in Portland pretty quickly. So yeah, early. Um, Early on, I would go to LA a lot just because I had homies there and I could record there. My homie Calvin Valentine, I got a project with him called Tiger Milk. Go check that out. But yeah, and my homie Ilmac from Portland that lives in LA, super dope MC, battle rapper. Um, I would just go out there and yeah, experience, like figure out what's going on there. You know what I mean? I think we can get caught up in our own little bubbles being where we're from, and it's important to just zoom out and it's bigger than your city. It's bigger than your neighborhood. It's bigger than your scene. There's other stuff going on that's important and cool, and you should try to tap in with. I mean, in New York, I was super fortunate because I got signed to a label, and then my manager's out here in New York, so I was able to like tap in pretty easily with artists and people and do a bunch of cool things. But yeah, man, I'm very grateful that I get to kind of live, well, bi-coastally, as they say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's I'm super grateful for that. It really helps. Like my perspective is a little different now because of that.
Yeah, yeah, that's really, really valuable. You mentioned kind of what helped accelerate and make easier your move over to New York between the manager and the record label. Um, uh, you've got a lot of records, right? A lot of albums. Things like Big Belly Blanco and Tiger Milk, how you mentioned, right? And
Yeah,
things that are kind of earlier in the timeline, right? At
yeah.
what point in time do you feel that you actually got the traction to where you were getting noticed and got a manager, got signed? At what point did it like did the momentum like because sometimes the grind is the same, but then it clicks,
It
right?
just clicks.
Yeah, can you talk to us about that story, that part of your story?
Yeah, definitely. I think honestly, like it all happened pretty quickly. I released one of my favorite albums with the homie Televangel called "The Fish That Saved Portland." I think that was late 2023, I believe, in like October, September, maybe. But anyway, that was like an album I was super proud of. But I also had like a visual that my boy Noah Porter did. That I think kind of made its rounds a little bit. It wasn't like it didn't go like crazy, but for some reason it got in front of the right people because my phone for like a month or two was just going off with different like labels and managers and just people like that. I don't know what was going on, but um,
But it was
yeah,
different. You remember like that was like a moment that
yeah,
like the energy
yeah.
shift.
Yeah, it was definitely, and I could feel it. It was one of those things that's like kind of intangible of like a certain thing happened, but I just could kind of feel things were different, like a little bit, like yeah, like even just in my city, like people just coming up to me and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like it just was like I could feel like just an energy shift a little bit, and yeah, then Johnny Shipes, who's the CEO of Good Talk, the head of Good Talk, DM me. And I had heard of him because I was like, I knew him from like when he had a label called Cinematic, and like that had like a bunch of dope artists like Joey Badass and Smoke Dizza and a bunch of other people. Um, yeah, he DM'd me and called my phone the next day. He didn't know where I was from. He couldn't figure out where I was from, but so he called me at like 6 a.m. West Coast time. but but anyway, yeah, we started talking, and then like we talked for a few months, and then he just flew me out to New York, and then he was just starting a podcast, and then the podcast just uh, they just had me on randomly because I was there one day, and then yeah, I just kind of never left. I mean, I left, but like I just been back and forth ever since, for real. Like, so yeah, it's been fun for sure. It's interesting little wrinkle and everything. It was the podcast and all that.
Yeah, that's really really dope, and I think that I think a lot of people find inspiration in that, and how that all kind of came together. Um, the podcast part is interesting. You know, as an artist that's been grinding on the scene, and then kind of fell into this, you know, hanging it and kicking it, and having a genuine interest in music and culture and having experience in it. You know, compared to your music, in what ways did, you know, being on a platform and being a personality on the platform regularly, what, you know, did it accelerate? Is it the same? Does it do as much for you as your music? Is it different? What can you share with us about, you know, that?
I don't know like how much they intersect at this point, the podcast and the music. I feel like it's starting to sometimes, but I don't know how many. Like, yeah, I don't know if it definitely accelerated like me visibility, like who, like you know what I mean. But like, I don't know like how many people watch the podcast and listen to my music. I think there's a lot of people that might listen to my music to watch the podcast, but that's like a smaller group. But yeah, I don't know. To me, it's just fun. I like doing it. I like meeting people. I like doing the interviews, cracking jokes. We've had like a crazy guest on, like you know, Cameron's one of my favorite rappers. We had him on. That was really dope. Wiz Khalifa, that was a really dope episode. Yeah, we've had a ton of guests that have been crazy. It's just super. I like to talk shit, so it's like a perfect thing for me. Like I probably wouldn't like do my own podcast, but like to be like have something already set up that I can just like interject my like just plug myself into. Like it's fun.
Yeah, and the episodes that I've seen, it's like you're the perfect personality for what you do in it. Does
Yeah,
that make
yeah,
sense?
yeah, yeah,
Like you
yeah,
don't
yeah, yeah.
necessarily want to be doing what I'm doing right now, but as like the person that's kind of one of maybe three talking heads that's got your own kind of vibe. You're in New York City, you got like a Portland vibe also. All of this stuff, right? Like
Yeah,
you're,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like it all adds just the right, you know, beer in hand, right? And like
Yep,
trucker
yep.
hat, right? All of it, it kind of plays into a character. And so much of hip hop and culture is a little WWE. You know what I'm saying? There's a
Facts.
little kind
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
character that
Well,
you're being yourself, but it's they've got the
yeah,
right cast of characters.
facts, and yeah, that should also be said about the podcast is entertainment, right? It's like supposed to be kind of crazy and fun, and we play shit up and shit like that. I think if you, I think like if you want to get to know more of like who I am, the music is obviously probably where you would want to go. But nah, the podcast, I love doing the podcast. We're about to actually just start it up again a week from today. We're about to start shooting again, so I'm super excited for that.
That's dope. And to make sure that, you know, people that maybe are hearing about it for the first time, where can they find it? You know, how frequently does it come out?
Where it's called the Good Talk Show. You can find it like you can type that in on YouTube. It's you know it's yeah, we've had big guests on like Cameron, Wiz Khalifa. We had a really man, I'm going blank right now with the guests, but
Yeah,
we've
yeah,
had
yeah. Bun B,
Bun
Nems is
B.
on there
Nems
frequently.
was just on. Nems is now actually a co-host. He'll be the co-host now.
I mean, that's
Uh,
not bad, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
having Nems as a co-host is not too bad.
it'll be fun with have Nems on there full time. But yeah, a ton of people been on there. Yeah, it's called the Good Talk Show. Anywhere where you can listen to podcasts. You really want to watch it though, so I suggest you go to YouTube to see it all. It's all pretty great. We have a small. We had this guy named Stanley come on, who's like a little person, a Jewish little person who's hilarious and cranky guy. We got a lot of cast of characters. It's a very funny, it's fun show.
Yeah.
It's like
The
some Howard Stern hip hop show type shit.
That's a good way to describe it. Yeah, a little Howard Stern, a little New York, right? Howard Stern, New
Yeah,
York, right? A
yeah,
little over the top. Say things politically incorrectly.
yes, probably a lot of that. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
That's dope. And then, you mentioned the Run for the Arts, where basically, you get signed, you have your manager, Good Talk, and then Run for the Arts is released on Good Talk. But is that the first album released on?
It's like through their distro. I wouldn't say like I have an album coming out in August that is like my like debut
Okay.
label album. It's actually called Good Talk You Pricks. It's me and then the mascot of Good Talk is this dog called Cousin Howie, and Cousin
Yeah, yeah,
Howie
the
makes
one at the beginning that turns on the
yeah,
TV and
yeah,
then it
yeah, yeah.
opens up,
And
right?
he's doing the production on the album. It's really my man's, Shipes and Trig are really like the ones behind the music on it. But yeah, it's really dope. First singles coming out the end of June with me, Dizza and Nims. Uh,
Wow.
should be dope. Yeah, a lot of and that yeah, the album will be out in August, and yeah, so stay tuned for that. That's my next thing dropping.
That's dope. Thank you for sharing that. So Run for the Arts is what you had shared earlier, is that was in the works over the course of years, you and
Yeah,
Spinach, like a Portland thing. And then,
exactly.
you're at this place in your career, so it was distributed through Good Talk.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it wasn't like yeah, yeah, yeah. This one, there'll be like a more of like a press run. I'm not trying to downplay Run for the Heart. Super dope album. It was already in the pipeline, and they didn't have much to do with it other than releasing it. You know what I'm saying? This
Yeah.
next album will have like marketing and all that and everything with
Yeah.
Good Talk.
So you said it's called Good Talk, You Pricks.
Yeah, Good Talk, you pricks. Yep, yep, yep,
That's
yep.
awesome. That's
Yeah,
dope.
yeah.
So I take it, given that it's almost June and that it's dropping in August, like, it's done?
Oh, it's done. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're gonna start. It'll like probably like in a week or two from today, we'll have like the first like content for it and have like the big like this is coming out post or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like it'll be yeah. All it's been done for like almost 2 months now.
Wow. And just personally, as a person that's done it independently for like a long time, is this your first time working with like a label, or have you had other label experiences? And how is it different this time around?
I think I've been on like really small labels before, or like I've
Hmm.
had distribution deals, which I don't, but this is like the first time having like a staff of people where I have like meetings about what's gonna happen and shit like that, which is always very funny to me as somebody who's been doing this on his own for a while, and
Yeah.
but uh, it definitely makes you feel more important when you really when you have a label like this, like helping you put it out. Um, I will say there's something I like both ways. There's something beautiful about you and your homie just holed up, cooking something up, and uh, trying to push it the best you can on your own. I really that experience. I like doing that. Like I like
Yeah.
figuring out ways to get it to people, get it in front of people, and all the success is yours. Anything that happens, he's like, damn, I did that. That wasn't anybody else. So
Yeah.
that feels good. But this way is also cool. Like I'm glad I've got to experience this where, you
Yeah.
have like marketing money and there's you can maybe get a few bigger features and things of that sort. You know what I mean? And video budgets to do videos that you probably wouldn't be able to do, on your own. So in that way, that is super fun. Um, I've definitely had to like take my hands off the reins. Like I'm so used to having every little control over every little piece of what I put out. But also that's kind of nice too to have other people pushing something forward without you having to be like hovering over somebody's shoulder. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's really talented people around me at the label, and so it's yeah, it's I enjoy both processes, releasing stuff independently, and now I've enjoyed this working with the label as well.
Yeah, that's cool that you've had both experiences. And I'm curious, like as an independent artist, sometimes you don't do everything because strategically it's the right thing. A lot of it is off the feeling. It's like, now we dropping this joint now. Like
Yeah,
like we're
yeah,
like it's
yeah,
ready to go. Like, people wake up and they're like, oh, and it creates like this savage feeling that independent artists only independents could do, where like you
yeah,
wake up and Milk dropped an album. It's like, where did the album come from? He just
yeah,
dropped an
yeah, yeah,
album. He
yeah.
just they just you know what I'm saying? You get a little lit, and you spinach are like, like
Yep,
sand,
exactly.
right? And it's
Facts.
just
Yeah,
boom. And other things like that. Maybe it's the video, maybe it's the, whatever. Um and then perhaps with a label, it's more like a rollout calculated with milestones, with like a project plan essentially, right?
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hmm.
Nah, definitely. It's just way more ducks in the row type of thing. You know what I mean? Like, we've had the album cover for like 6 months, for instance. Like, maybe the
Right,
album cover, I would haven't even thought about it after. You know what I mean? Like, till like 2 months until the album drop. You know what I mean? So it's like,
right.
it's definitely, yeah, it's a different process for sure. But it's all you also learn a lot. Like, oh, this is why we do it. This is why you should do it like this, because this is why you should have release it's like four singles all 2 weeks apart because it helps the algorithm and it helps boot. You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Yeah,
And so some of it's a learning. I would I try to pick up as much game as possible because one day I kind of secretly hope to have my own label or
yeah,
So it's interesting. I just look at it as like I get a peek behind the scenes. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
so yeah, it's cool.
yeah. And then in addition to the album coming and working with a label, there's been a little bit of you've been quieter than normal. You're normally like super prolific, and you've kind of you're on the podcast, right? But you've been working and you're building up to the album, so now everybody's like they're hungry. All the
Yeah,
fan
yeah.
base is waiting for the new music,
Nah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've been like, I've been working on projects with like in New York, like Blockhead. I got a project with him coming. Arsonist, the Heat Makers. I'm working on some shit with them. Me and Spinitch are also in the middle of working on something new. So it's like, yeah, I'm staying. I've been working. It's not like I haven't been like creating, but yeah, nothing's come out really. I've been like trying not. It's been hard, but I've been making sure that like I want this thing to be like the jump off board for another run. You know what I'm saying? Like I want
Yeah,
this album with the label to come out and then have all these other projects jump springboard off of this. So it's
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, the timing's perfect, bro. The time, because
yeah,
you did the deluxe, right? You did the Run for the Arts deluxe like in
yeah,
October,
true, yeah, true,
right? So
yeah,
you did
yeah,
the,
yeah,
like you dropped the full length, and then you did the deluxe in October. So you're right
yeah.
at the moment where like it's dinner time. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah,
Everybody's
yeah.
hungry.
Yeah, facts. Yeah. Believe me, bro, I've been waiting for this to come out.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'm psyched. Everything is on right. Everything, it's the right time. Yeah. Like, I'm glad it's took this long. Like, it feels right.
right. And perfect for the summer.
Facts. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, that's really dope. I want to make sure that people know, because we talked about this upcoming project, Good Talk You Pricks. But you got a massive discography. I want to make sure people know where to go listen to the discography in its entirety, whatever physicals and merch you have, and how to make sure that they're, connected to Milk.
Word. Yeah, like it's kind of confusing because on DSPs or on on like Instagram and TikTok and Twitter and whatever have you, X or whatever you want to call it. I'm I'm Milk Main, but on it's Milk. I just used the main for. I have no idea why I did that for
Yeah.
social media, but I did. But
Yeah, like Goofy Mane. It's Milk
yeah,
Mane,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah. But on DSPs, I'm Milk, just MILC. Everything's on there. As far as like vinyl goes, I think we have a few copies left of Affordable Luxuries. Bad Tofu. That's me and Chuck Strangers. The group is called Bad Tofu. The album's called Affordable Luxuries. Again, that's me and Chuck Strangers. It's in the links in my Instagram. Every other vinyl sold out, unfortunately. I wish I gotta stop doing runs of 100. So I'm gonna start doing bigger runs of vinyl because it's. But yeah, you can still get Affordable Luxuries. They did a bigger run for that, so I think there's still copies left of that. And yeah, you can get vinyl there, and yeah, all on DSPs. Just type in Milk, and you can go through all my albums. I think a good album to start with would be Windbreaker. That's me and Andy Savoy, or Tiger Milk, me and Calvi. One of those two. Those are earlier
Yeah.
in the mix, but yeah, man, I'm proud of all my projects. So anyone, go listen, please run it up.
Yeah, and what's interesting is with like a lot of your projects, like Windbreaker, then you got Windbreaker XL, right, and then Tiger Milk, and then you got like kind of like another deluxe version, right? This is like a way to get more mileage out of it. You know, I'm curious as to like you know what you could share with people out there, like what maybe some tips as to like what's worked for you as an independent artist that has now had success and gotten signed and you know is doing things in New York. Um, little tips and tricks that you've used to maximize the limited resources you have as an artist when you're first coming up.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, yeah. One thing, like above everything, is just consistency. I know that's not like a trick, but but it's like if it's you want to have quality, but you're gonna need to be consistent with the quality because you just want your name to get across as many times as you can, like as many desks as you can, and the more you put out, the more easier that is to happen. Also, yeah, doing deluxes or maybe instead of only having one single, if you can afford it and get the cover art, try to have two or three singles come out before the album drops. Uh, and also a big thing that really helped me was collaboration.
Yeah,
Even if it's not the biggest artist or the biggest producer, it it gives you. I don't like doing a project where I have many producers. I just want to work lock in with one person. And I think for me, that's been just like a really big part of my success because it's like you have like your teammate with you. You know what I mean? You have
yeah,
somebody that's equally invested with you. Like their name's on the project. They're going to care. You know what I mean? And you got somebody you can like build this with, and having a team in general. Like like try to work with this. Try to work with an engineer. Build it up with an engineer. They might not be have the greatest setup yet, but you could build it up together. Like you can, and same with the cameraman. He might not be, you know, the greatest. He's not Spike Lee or anything yet, but he's trying to figure it out. I think you got to be willing to I'm not to say to use people, but use the resources that you have in front of you. You know what I mean? Don't
yeah,
try to leap over you know what I mean? You're gonna kill yourself trying to have uh, a $10,000 music video right off the jump. Like, do what you can
yeah.
do right now. Like, um, and treat people well. Say thank you.
That's good.
I think in this thing, a lot of artists I notice think what they got going on is bigger than the program, or thinking what they're making is, you know what I mean, the biggest thing happening in the world. And for you, it is. For as the artist, I know the feeling. Like, yeah, I think what I
Right.
got going is important, but to everybody else, it's not important, bro. Like, and
Yeah,
And it's like you got to like when people do something for you or do something for you half on the dollar, like pennies on the dollar, you got to be like extremely thankful and tell these people you appreciate them and that for their time and effort towards doing for putting into what you got going on. I think a lot of people get a little selfish and think just
Yeah.
bullheaded in their approach, and it's like for me, like I try to make sure, like and when I do have bread, I break it off immediately, like
Yeah.
so. Yeah, I would just say like you know it's an old saying, but manners will take you where money won't.
That's good.
And in
That's
this business, I think if you can empower people, it's a beautiful thing. I love collaboration. I love meeting people, working with people, having different energies, different vibes, younger, older, a woman, a man, whoever,
yeah.
like all different. I love it. Like I love getting their slice of life through. You know, it's like when you work with somebody, it's like, and another thing is make sure you're adding on as well as they're adding on. Like nobody should be taking away from anybody. Like it should all be like a thing that springs everybody forward, helps everybody. It's not going to help everybody the same. Certain things, are going to help people more. But like, yeah, you just gotta, just be good to people, man. It's so much ugly out there in the world. Like, there's no
Facts.
reason to add on to it.
That's good, bro. So many gems, so many gems. And what's really interesting is that a lot of times, you're instead of Spike Lee, you got like Mike Lee or something. You know what I'm saying? But that's his opportunity to get those hours that he wouldn't necessarily get because he's not the rapper. So
Exactly.
he
Yeah.
doesn't got the song, right?
Exactly.
So he needs somebody to do that for.
Exactly. Yeah. And yeah. And if you're dope, people are. Another thing is, what I tell people is, like they're like, dang, how do you get so and so to work with you? Well, I'm like, I guess you got to be pretty good at this. Like, so what
Yeah.
I'm saying is like, just your craft, like, make sure like, make sure you're ready to do this. Like, make sure you're at a point and level of skill and professionalism to do this. Like, don't if you're not there yet, you're not there yet. Like, the universe will tell you if you're there. Like, believe me, I've been doing this a long time. It was crickets for me for a long time. And you know why? It's because I wasn't good enough. I was not good enough before. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
kept working. I kept trying to get better. And then it started working, started clicking a little more, little by little. So, yeah, I think having you got to be delusional, but you also got to step back and see reality for a second and be like, what's going on here? Is like the universe making this easier for me or harder for me? You know what I mean?
That's really good because I wanted to ask you about that, because we're talking about your new album coming up, the album that just came out, right? The show you're on, the success you've had in Portland to New York, and the manager and the label, right? But there's like the art. There's a reason for all of this, and that's the craft, right? And
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
I wanted to, you tapped into it right now, which is. um how did you get so good is really the thing. Like I what because you're good because you're Milk, right? You found your voice and your style, and I can throw adjectives to define it and kind of, but I'm not really doing you justice. You're just Milk. You are what you are based on your background, where you're from, and then your unique cadence and the way you put things together in your mind. Talk to us about how you became, how you got everything off of you that's not you and found your voice and then got like really good at that.
Yeah, what up? I'm in an interview, Papa. I'm in the middle of an interview. You good? Uh, um, Let me. Sorry. What made? What? I mean, trials and error. Like, I've been in a group with my homie. I thought we were the most John Blaze shit in the world. I couldn't believe that we weren't like, this is in my early 20s when you're like,
Yeah,
and uh, yeah, I thought we were the most John, but and when nothing really happened. We had success in the city, but again, it's just the city. It's like But and I wasn't. Uh, it just for me, it took time. I really, the older I got, the more perspective I got, the more things happen in your life. You go through heartbreak, you go through, you know, um, whatever you're dealing with outside, whether you have a 9 to 5 or you took other paths to make ends meet. You just deal with you just deal with things, and you see things, and you go through things. For me, like uh, they say that you can't be a good comedian until you're like 35 years old or something. I've heard somebody
Yeah,
say, because you just haven't had enough life. And the hip hop that I make and the hip hop that I love, I think it might be true for rap in a lot of ways. Of course, we have these crazy instances of like Nas, or this youthful
yeah,
geniuses, but like I'm not Nas. Like it
yeah.
took
And also, they
me.
lived something by the time they were
Yeah,
19
yeah, they had
that
a
you don't necessarily always live.
they had a deeper understanding of things at a younger age. But I think for me, and like for other MCs that make similar music, I really think the older you get, the better you are, and I think we're even noticing that now. I can make a million examples, but I'm just saying, I think like for certain, and there's always going to be dope younger cats too. I'm not saying you can't be
Right.
dope, but I'm just saying for what I do, for the shit I make, it feels like the older I get, the better.
Good. Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
so that's how I came to be, man. Just growing old and living some life, and uh, yeah, just going through ups and downs. I think the music I loved was definitely like what people describe. Growing up, the music I loved is definitely what people would describe as like boom bap, or true school. There's a million things we could call this,
Yeah.
but I went away from that in my 20s, kind of trying to do something that
Yeah.
trying to like to get on, quote unquote, or whatever. When I stripped everything down and went back to that, is when things started going right for me. So it's
Wow.
like I think you should do what's easiest for you to do. Like what's the easiest way for you to make music? Like what comes natural, Like that's what you should be that's what you should be making. Like, they always say write what you know when it comes to like writing, period. So it's like, yeah, like make what comes naturally to you. Don't let nobody tell, oh, that's dusty, or oh, that's old, or oh, that's this or that. Don't let that. You should, I've seen this rap thing go so many different ways in the time that I've been doing this, and now
Yeah.
it's even more like different lanes and facets and ideas, and that people are latching onto. So I've seen the way I rap has been in and out of style like 4 times since I've been rapping. So like you just never know. Drake is still rhyming over sample based boom bap on his records. Kendrick is
Yep.
rhyming over boom bap on his record. Like
Right.
there's always that element is always gonna be there in hip hop.
Yeah.
Like it don't matter like if they're trying to. It's always gonna be there. That shit'll always it's ever present. So yeah.
That's good. I've heard people refer to it as the essence.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of yeah. I've heard of yeah. Yeah. It's yeah.
That's
Tradition.
good.
Yeah. The yeah.
Tradition. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good. We've spent a lot of time talking about the craft of writing, your albums, your journey as an MC. There's a part of your journey as an MC that we haven't talked about, which is freestyling, right? This
Yeah.
is something that you actively embrace and aren't afraid to to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because real freestyling, you don't actually you don't actually even know what's gonna happen, right? It's like,
Sure. Yeah.
like, and when you're sharp, there's a higher probability that you're on point. But it's like a basketball game. You don't know if the three's gonna go in, right? But the more you're at the court, the sharper your jump shot is, right? And
Yeah.
but this is something that you've brought into your craft, and it's one of the things that's captured of you online and in content and on shows. you've been with some of the best, right? People like Static Selector and folks like that. Talk to us about that the role that that's played in your career.
Um, Freestyling is just well. Shout out Harry Mack. I mean, a lot of y'all might know who Harry Mack is. I
Yeah,
grew
Harry
up with
Mack's
Harry Mack.
he took it kind of in a new direction, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I grew up with him.
Wow.
One of my first recordings is me and him. Um, so anyway, we used to freestyle for like hours, hours. Me and the RIP Misk, and he's an MC too. Passed away last year, but a very dope MC who used to be in a group with Harry Mack from Portland. Yeah, we used to go up in the homie's room, and he was a DJ. He had turntables, and we just used to freestyle for we smoke one and freestyle for like a good 2 3
Yeah.
hours, just going back and forth. So I always just took it with me. It's just I'm always freestyling. I'll be in the deli freestyling, like just picking up shit in my head, not out loud, but
Yeah, yeah.
in my head, like uh, it
just
also
walking around, just walking around New York, freestyling your order. That's a dope movie. That's the video right
yeah,
there.
that is. Uh, yeah, and it saves me a lot in shows. If I forget my lyrics,
Yeah.
I'll just bang go right into a freestyle. The crowd sometimes won't even notice really. Uh, it's just something I've always held on to. I don't know, I don't want to say it's uh not every MC needs to do it. I don't think a lot of people are like, oh, if you can't freestyle, you're not a real. I don't believe that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put anything on it like that. I just find it to be super fun and funny. Like, like
Yeah.
not knowing, it can just be. You can create a moment. You know what I mean? And I love, even in my recording process, it's kind of I like it. I like things moving. You know what I mean? I'm not one of those people that spend like an hour laying a verse. Like I'm gonna lay my verse. I'm gonna try to do it one thing and I'm moving on. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I think I like that about hip hop in general is when there's a certain element of off the cuffness there. It doesn't necessarily need to be off the top of the head freestyle, but there's room to improvise. There's room for spontaneity and things like that. And yeah, freestyling has been important for me in rapping. It's I mean even me and my homie up here we'll just get a little rhyme scheme and just go back and forth saying funny shit with the rhyme scheme. Like you know what I mean? Um, yeah, it's just something. I love words. I love rhyming. I love figuring it out. And it's just part of that for me. And but yeah, I love. It used to be everybody done it. You drink a 40, smoke a blunt with your homies, and start freestyling. I'm sure everybody's freestyled.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, no, that's really dope. Not everybody does it to the level at which you've achieved, you know what I'm saying? And in the platforms and in the environments that you've gone to. But for sure everybody has that. I think you touched on something really dope, which is leaving room for that spontaneity, the importance of it. I get that sensation sometimes with like a live sporting event. Like I don't want to watch UFC the next day. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like I want to watch the fight. I want to watch the fight when it's happening. And if
Live.
I miss it, I care about the result, but I'm not as engaged of watching it from beginning to end in the same way, right?
Yeah, no, no, definitely, definitely. I think, yeah, no, definitely. I think I see it with just in a lot of the elements of hip hop, like b-boy, you see people breaking, they're not knowing they're
That's
not like
good.
I'm gonna do this one into this one into this one into that one. They're reacting to the crowd. They're reacting to wherever the music's being played out of. It's a big part of hip hop is spontaneity is figuring out it all yeah, freestyling.
Yeah, that's really, really dope. If people were to go to a Milk show, right? And you're performing, is freestyling worked into it like automatically? Because you know some MCs they'll be like, "Hand me your shoe, hand me items," you know what I'm saying? Or is it more kind of like you've got a set, but you leave space for banter and improv as needed?
Yeah, I mean, if you go to my show, yeah, I do a lot of. I talk to the crowd a lot. I'm like a yeah. I do like half stand up, half half rapping. Yeah, there's a lot of shit talking. You're gonna see me Stone Cold Steve Austin some beers. There probably will be some freestyles. Sometimes I have it like worked in, like yo, just play a beat. I'm gonna freestyle to it. Like I'll rhyme over like a Premier beat or a Dilla beat, just something people know. And then other times, I won't freestyle. Sometimes I freestyle and won't know I'm about to freestyle because, like I said, I'll fuck up on a verse
Yeah,
and then freestyle the whole rest of the shit. Um, yeah, it just depends on what I'm feeling like, what the crowd's like, what. I don't like to really do the parlor tricks of like hand me some, put up something from your pocket, let me rhyme off of it. I just think it's just like super nat. So many people have done that and done it
yeah.
well that I don't think I need to do that. Or like give me some words. I feel like that's all been done enough and people are doing that enough. But yeah, there's a high chance that I'll be freestyling if you see me live.
That's dope. That's dope. My bro, if we start to wrap up, just a couple questions for people to get to know you a little bit more personally. You talked
But
about, if you're on stage, couple beers, Steve Austin style. What beer are you drinking?
I promised Shipes I'd stop shouting him out, but I'm still drinking it. It's Modelo's my favorite beer. Modelo out of
The
small
most
can.
interesting man, the most interesting man in the world.
And then but I drink it, man. I drink it all. I don't like. I'm from Portland. In Portland, they love their beer, but they love IPAs and things like that.
Little
Not my
stinky
favorite.
beers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I like a good light. I like a cerveza, really.
yeah, got it. And then on the smoke end, what is it? Sativa, indica. What's your
I
preference?
don't even be smoking anymore. But go. What I did used to smoke was I guess was just more of a hybrid, really, is what I
Yep,
found out. Is like most of the strains that I liked were hybrids, both of them. But
yeah.
yeah, I stopped smoking. I'm smoke free.
Yep. That's a trend out here in Cali too, which is interesting. It's kind of how things are. And then I want to make sure people know upcoming album, Good Talk You Pricks. Is
Yeah.
there a release date yet?
I think there is, but like I don't want to say the wrong date because I have forgotten.
Yeah.
But it's in August. But it'll be out in August, and we'll have like 3 or 4 singles out to like if you follow the page, you'll see when everything will be dropping and have a bunch of videos and content and yeah. And then October 2nd, I have my festival I throw in Portland, Dairy Fest, October 2nd in Portland. Um, I guess
That's
that's
dope. I didn't. You know what? I didn't know about Dairy Fest.
yeah.
That's
It's
and the
gonna
Dairy
start.
Dairy Fest off of Milk, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. We're having our third one this year, so it's exciting. That's October 2nd at Polaris Hall. Go get tick. Well, I don't even think. Never mind. Don't get the ticket link is definitely not out yet, so don't worry about that. But
but in the
stay.
past, so that people have like a point of reference, what other people, what artists have been at Dairy Fest? What can they expect?
I mean, we have surprise. Last year, believe it or not, Dave Chappelle showed up.
That's wild.
Because Wynne was with his DJ, and he had a show in Portland. Chappelle had, I guess, a show in Portland the next night, and then he showed up. So it was fucking
Did he go
pandemonium.
on stage?
Nah, he didn't go on stage, but it was a lot going
It's
on when he
Dave
pulled
Chappelle,
up.
bro. It's like the
Yeah,
GOAT.
yeah, it's almost. I know this sounds like a lie, but I promise you this happened. Uh, but Dairy Fest is low. It's mostly to showcase local acts. Unfortunately, like a lot of rappers in Portland don't really get to play at the venues that I get to do for Dairy Fest that are
Yeah,
just more better venues, treat you better, have a green room, regular shit that everybody should have.
yeah.
Unfortunately, Portland doesn't really show up for the local rappers all the time. But anyway, Dairy Fest is a time where I like to just showcase Portland talent. I always have like a couple tricks up my sleeve though. There's always somebody pulling up or popping out to do a song or something like that. This year, there's definitely kind of pulling out all the stops for the third one.
Yeah,
Uh,
well, and also, I mean, the stock went up. You know what I'm
yeah, yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah. The thing about it though, in my city, I've always been let. You know what I mean? Like you know, it's always been easy for me in my city. But yeah, you're right. The stock is definitely going up, and it's a good timing because album will be out in August. The show's
Yeah,
early
August,
October.
September,
Yeah,
October. You're
yeah,
still on the
yeah.
August. You're still on the album promo run.
Exactly. Yeah. So that'll be good. Yeah. Anyway, there'll be some fun surprises at this one, but yeah, Dairy Fest, and then look out for. Yeah, I got some other shows in between now and then, not in Portland, but just go to my Instagram. You'll see what's coming up as far as shows go.
Yeah, yeah. That's really dope, my brother. Congratulations on all your success.
Thank you.
New album, Good Talk You Pricks, dropping in August.
Yes, sir.
Album they just dropped, about a year ago. Run for the Arts, the deluxe dropped in October. Go watch Good Talk. And you're starting to shoot, more episodes of that coming up. My bro, you're bubbling.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Yeah, I'm having a good time.
Yeah, yeah. It's an honor to build with you. Congratulations, and I look forward to build with you again.
Thank you, bro. Pleasure to be on the show.
Salute, my brother. Peace.